Hello, my name is Michael Brownix. I'm going to be talking to you about the IEP process and how it all goes down. Let's start off with the parent and student involvements. So first off, parents are heavily involved in the IEP process. As for the students, depending on their age, students are involved. If they're elementary age students, they're not as involved as they are when they get to junior high and they get into high school. When they get into high school, depending on the school setup and the IEP setup team and everything like that, the students could get brought in and help discuss, develop, and implement their IEP goals and what they feel is an acceptable goal for them to reach. The IEP team relies heavily on the parent involvement because they know their child the best. They know what their child needs. They know what they want for their child to have as far as, in their IEP and what can help them be successful during school. Now let's get into the referral process. So how this all goes down is that there are multiple ways for students can be referred. The teachers can refer the students. Maybe the principal if she's been sitting in a class and watching it, and definitely the parents. Those three components are people that are allowed to refer their student or child, for an IEP or for a special services. So the first they would have the pre-referral, which that would be the intervention, documentation, everything like that. And then they would have the formal referral. That's where the special education teacher would go into the classroom, evaluate the student, watch them and as they're interacting in class to see exactly what they would need for their special services and their needs and their IEPs. And then after that, then it goes to see if they're eligible for, any kind of disability needs in class, or maybe they're just a 504 kid and they're not technically a special education student. Then we have the developing of the IEP. That's where the special ed coordinator for that campus will sit down with the team and they will develop the IEP based on the evaluation that the teacher has made. And then we have the implementation. Once the IEP is set and put in stone and everybody agrees on it, from the campus coordinator, the principal, the teachers, to the parent, then the IEP is put into play, and then it's in stone. And then they'll do like an annual review on it. Every so often they'll have an ARD meeting with the teachers, with the parent, sometimes the student, and they will discuss how the progress is going for the IEP. Now, for the evaluation process, the parents have to give their consent for the school to do an evaluation of their child. The schools can't just go in and evaluate a child that they feel like is in need of special services. The parents have to give that consent, and then once it's contained, the students will they'll do all kinds of tests to see where they are with their disabilities and where the services need to be the strongest. And then once it takes about 60 calendar days, so once the process is started, the school and the teachers, they have 60 days to get everything lined out so that an IEP can be put into play. To be eligible for any type of disability services through the school, a child just has to have some type of special needs disability. It could be anything. Once the parents take them and they get diagnosed with something, if they fall along the lines, then they are eligible for services. And that could be anything from SLD, which is specific learning disability, deaf and hearing impairment, blindness and vision impairment. They could be LD, which is learning disability. They could be ID, which is intellectual disability, or they could be fall along some type of ASD, which would be the autism spectrum disorder. So as long as they fall under some type of category of a disability, they are eligible to receive services. Now let's talk about some components of the IEP. There's a lot of things that go into the IEP, from school year goals to tracking the progress of the students, details on the services being provided, any type of accommodations, whether it be in the classroom or on testing days, and then also whether that student requires a one-to-one aid. Some students, they don't need to have a one-to-one aid, but some students, they may require that extra assistance from a one-to-one aid with them during the school day. Now, some of the expectations that need to be looked at are how well the schools, the special education coordinators, and the teachers, as well as the principals and admin staff, communicate with the parents. If they feel that the kid is, you know, excelling, then they should report that to the parents. Hey, your kid's doing great. If they feel like the kid is falling down, not meeting those expectations, or they feel like the goals that they have set for the year may not be obtainable, then something needs to be said to the parents and let them know that they don't know if the goals are going to be obtainable for this school year. We may have to pull them over to the next school year, but we need to have that looked at. Now, speaking of the teachers, when it comes to the teachers, we have a very high responsibility when it comes to upholding the integrity of our profession. As part of the IEP team, we are a very integral part because we see the students on a daily basis. They are in our classes, a few minutes or maybe an hour out of the day. We see them 5 days a week. So we are a very big part of collecting the data that the special education teachers need for the IEPs to see how they're progressing, tracking their progress in the classroom, as well as, socially and everything like that. If we do not do our part as part of the team, then we are not helping these students develop fully and reach their potential. So me as a future teacher, I feel like it is my duty to make sure that everything is going according to plan, that the students are reaching their goals, and that they are being successful in my classroom as well as a student of the school.